Hey, welcome everyone to Picture This Film Reviews. My name is Matt.
And I am Dan.
Welcome back. Can you still believe we are back doing Picture This Film Reviews after, what is it, a year and some change of being gone? Now, that's not to mislead audiences. We did do Nightmares and Scares. We did do a little bit of 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. There's been other projects in between, but the OG project on this channel was Picture This Film Review. Well, started as the MDVA Movie
Movie
Club.
Club.
It was an idea to have a movie club where each of us take turns picking a movie and just talking about that movie. We did a lot of old stuff, and all that's still available if you're interested. You go back in the archives; it's on the channel. Um, and somewhere along the line, we rebranded to Picture This Film Reviews, and it's I think we're still going to be covering. Dan said the last episode we're still going to be covering, some older stuff, and big anniversaries, and maybe if there's a new sequel coming out, we'll touch on the original or something. But I think our heavy focus this go around is going to be the newer films that are coming out in theaters each and every week. That's not to say we're going to be covering every movie each and every week, but the big ones, the good ones, the ones that were like, hey, you want to hop on and talk about that? Yeah, absolutely. Uh, we just came back. Catch our Sinners review that is already up. So make sure you watch that if you are interested. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy. If you're coming back to us, thank you so much for coming back. We really appreciate it. Um, Dan and I are just some average dudes that like to talk about movies.
Sometimes below average.
Well, speak for yourself. I happen to make a movie, so I'll put myself at average. So yeah, I'm not going to keep plugging each and every week that I made a movie, but we will
I
be
think you,
talking about
you
that.
need to plug. I think the fact that Matt has gone through how many months of shooting did you have on Hyde?
We went from February, we started filming in February of 24 and we wrapped in December of 24. So
So
almost a whole year.
extensive, a lot of time and effort and energy. So I think if you want to if you want to plug that movie, Matt, you have every right to plug that
And
movie.
it's something that, I'm really looking forward to once it's done. It's cheesy, but I want to talk about it on this show. Like I mean, that's going to be a movie that's new. It fits the criteria. So, I'm excited to talk about that when it's done. Of course, once we have a trailer, which is coming soon, we'll show that. We have some exciting things coming. Um, but enough about that. Dan, what are we talking about today on Picture This?
I mean, what I call it, or what I want to call it, and what you want to call it are not the
Oh,
same. I want to call it the New Avengers because that's what it calls itself. But the Thunderbolts are what we're
yeah.
going to be talking about today.
I'm not calling it the New Avengers ever. I'm just not. Um, yeah, we're talking about Thunderbolts, directed by Jake Schreier. Hope I'm saying that correctly. Um, One thing you'll know about this show is that neither Dan nor I can pronounce any names, so we're going to be probably fumbling many of them. Mr. Schreier, you might know from movies like Paper Towns. He did that show Beef on Netflix uh,
What?
a
I
year or
did
two
not know
ago.
that. Huh.
Yeah, look at me giving you all the info.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So yeah, this comes at a time. Just going to go right into it. Initial thoughts. Well, I guess I should say, should we? And now you're seeing behind the curtains, uh, ladies and gentlemen. Dan, should we give a synopsis and like first few cast members like we used to do, or should we just jump in like we did with Sinners and kind of talk?
Why don't we? I mean, if the folks are here, they probably know who's in the film. I mean, if we want to shout out or like specify. So the voice in the chair, which is now the voice in the blurred out section of the room, and I apologize, guys. This won't be the case like all the time. It's just room is a wreck right now, full disclosure. But overall, yeah, why don't we do the synopsis? You can
Okay.
give the title cast, and we'll go with whatever feels right. How about that?
Sure. Yes. Sinners felt very right just to jump in, but it was an older film. This is a fairly newer film. So we will give a little bit of synopsis here. Thunderbolts, after finding themselves, I can't even read that word. ensnared and
Oh,
snared
ensnared.
and snared.
Mhm.
Okay. See, told you. After finding themselves ensnared in a death trap, seven delusion castoffs must embark on a dangerous mission that will force them to confront the darkest corners of their past. This is kind
Ooh.
of the MCU's, well, castoffs. The heroes that aren't really heroes,
Suicide
almost,
Squad is what the
yeah,
voice is
yeah,
saying.
they yes, almost the Suicide Squad of the MCU. I know initial thoughts going into this, I had zero desire to watch this. I have been saying pretty much since Endgame, definitely since No Way Home, I am exhausted of Marvel anything. And not to beat a dead horse like everyone else is saying, but there's definitely such a thing as, and I don't even want to say it's superhero fatigue because I'm so amped for Superman coming,
Mm.
but definitely Marvel fatigue. And it's gotten to the point where it's so big and so massive that if you don't watch every single thing, whether it be the movies, whether it be the TV shows on Disney Plus, and now they've got shows on, well, no, I guess they brought the Netflix shows to Disney Plus. I was going to say they had shows on Netflix. It's 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 a ton of content. And they've connected and they've done an amazing job. Let me just put that out there. They've done an amazing job of connecting everything. But if you don't watch one thing, you're lost. And I kind of gave up. I think No Way Home was the last big one that I watched. I don't know how many have come out since then. Um, I know I hadn't seen the new Captain America until after Thunderbolts, and then I went back and watched Captain America. Um, Not a fan of Captain America, by the way, just in case anybody's wondering. Nope. It was okay. It was an average movie. Probably the weakest Captain America film. Anyway, so going into this, did not I went into this with a lot of bias, which we're going to get into, and I think that affected my initial reaction. But then what happened afterwards is what I'm excited to talk about because my mind started to change. Dan, what did you think about Thunderbolts going in, and maybe just a little initial reaction?
Very quickly to rehash thoughts on MCU, and Matt and I were discussing before filming. We know people beat this to death over the fact that, yes, Marvel fatigue is a thing, yada, yada, yada. I know Kevin
Feige.
um, Feige was talking about how Vision is going to be the last MCU TV show or series
Wait, we're
because
getting a
in
Vision show?
yes,
Oh gosh.
yes, we are. But it is going to be the last one, and you'd have to fact check me on all of this. But from what I saw through the randomness of my online scrolling, was that he said that he doesn't feel that viewers should have to do homework in order to go to enjoy a movie. So,
Amen.
to your thoughts, I think that's coming to an end, thankfully, because I think you're right. I'm to the thought process now that you should be able to go see a superhero movie just to see that movie, not necessarily having to know the 18 movies beforehand, especially because of how large the universe has gotten at this point. It's just too much to keep a
Like
hold of. But
36 movies or something at this point, not counting the TV
and
shows.
going strong still. But overall, my I really was looking forward to the Thunderbolts because in my mind I'm like thinking, okay, maybe we got something like a Deadpool-esque type situation going on here with a lot of characters. I love David Harbour, period. Red Guardian, I love his character. Think of me what you will for that, but hilarious to me. Really liked Lewis Pullman in Lessons of Chemistry. I thought that he's a strong actor, and I was excited to see what he would do on screen for us. And then Florence Pugh, I know my wife is a huge fan of her, so and I knew Bucky Barnes was going to make a resurgence as Sebastian Stan. I know he was part of it somehow, so I was looking forward to that. So overall, like you said, hesitant because there have been so many, and you just don't know. You kind of know how it's going to go, but you don't necessarily know 100%. But just looking forward to those performances, I think out of everything was the main driver for me to go. So I guess I'll
So
kick it back over to you at that point. I'm sorry that was a little inorganic. I mean, any standouts to you or parts of the movie that you felt were, resonated with you more or that you thought stuck with you after the fact?
So one thing I didn't expect was I think we're going to go mild spoilers here, maybe not full spoilers, but some mild spoilers. Um, the whole mental health angle I didn't really see coming in a Marvel movie, but I think it was a solid decision, and I really took a lot out of that. I think all of us can probably relate and or have been in situations where, we're low or depressed or feeling some type of way, and I think this movie did a good job about, handling those issues. Um, and you know, I watched the movie. I was surprised at how much I laughed during it. But then again, not surprised because I've never really not laughed at a Marvel movie except for the most recent Captain America. And I was also surprised at the character development. Like we know Florence Pugh's character, what's her name? Yelena.
Yelena,
We
yes.
know Bucky. We know David Harbour's Alexei. Uh, but we know we've seen Wyatt Russell, John Walker a couple times, I think, but really we don't know most of these people. Like to me anyway, at least I don't. And maybe they've been somewhere else that I just haven't watched. But um so I went in Bucky Sebastian Stan is the one obviously I feel like most of us all knew the most. And so I was surprised at how much they made me feel and care about these characters. Even Lewis Pullman, is he son of Bill Pullman? I was
Yes, he
wondering.
is.
I was wondering when I saw the name. It wasn't even. He didn't even really like. I don't think he really looks like his dad. But like when you said the name, I was like Pullman, huh? Um,
The voice in the blur has said that you're crazy for thinking he doesn't look like his father. I don't know if anybody wants to chime in on that and make a statement, but feel free.
I mean, I'm looking at a picture of him now. I guess I can see it now that I know it, but I really just put the realization together just now. You're watching it happen in real time because
You see the
uh
smoke coming out underneath of Matt's headphones. Just
uh I guess I can see it now. I didn't see it then, but I also didn't know his name then. Like I didn't until you said Lewis Pullman. I was like, hmm. Um well, that's cool. Big fan of Bill Pullman. Grew up with Bill Pullman movies. So that's awesome. I love seeing the next generation of actors like Wyatt Russell, son of Kurt Russell. Um, I like seeing the next generation, do their thing. So I've lost where I was going, but the character development, I think was very solid. I cared about each of these characters to the point where when I left the theater and I initially, and not to spoil anything, because we usually do our rating at the end, but I initially was more down on this movie than I was positive because I think a lot of that was that I went into it with the mindset of there's another MCU movie. I'm only watching it because it's getting a lot of talk. I had no interest in going to see it. I had no plans to go see it. And then when I started hearing, oh, this is the best MCU movie in a long time, it's like I had nothing. I literally went because I had nothing to do that weekend. I was like, well, I'm sitting here. I got nothing to do. There's a show in an hour. Let me go watch it. And I went and I enjoyed myself, but I thought, overall, 2 stars, 2.5 stars. I think I gave it on Letterboxd. Um, Not very high on the rating list. And then something happened. It couldn't leave my brain. I think they did such a good job that the characters and the character development, like the feelings that I had for these characters and the emotional story arc that they went through in the movie, it stuck with me. Where 2 days later, I was still thinking about them, and I was like, "Gosh, I really want to see that again." And I haven't said that about a Marvel movie in a long time. I don't even know if I said that about No Way Home with all the Spider-Man. you know, I don't think I haven't said that probably since Endgame. I'm like, gosh, I could really watch that again, like right away. Uh, and that kind of made me realize Oh, I went into it with blinders on because I had this bad taste in my mouth, if you will, of Marvel fatigue. And I need to really kind of just think about this as its own thing, because it is its own thing. And it changed my rating. I changed my letterbox rating. I changed my review. I think it's one of those things that you kind of got to go into just with open eyes and no prior, Marvel type thing. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with how funny these guys are, with how great the acting is, the story is there, the writing is chef's kiss as we used to do. I think it's all very well done. And that's where I'll leave it to kick it back to you.
I 100% agree with a lot of what you said. The first thing I'd like to touch on is again the characters that they brought together in this were probably the group that you would 100% not expect to work together at all. And they're all in their own ways, shape, and forms, and how they've existed. They're kind of not, I mean, they are minor characters. Let's just be honest. They're
Yeah.
minor characters to bigger stories, and they're given spotlight, center stage. And, for Marvel to take, the step towards this, I know is in comics and everything else. But overall, you threw these characters together, and I think they did a very good job in trying to build that relationship between them in such a short time on screen. Because it's like, why in the world would these people care about who kills who or who would kill each other? Da 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 da. So to me, it was interesting to see, okay, it's self-preservation, it's survival. And then, honestly, the character, which we later learned to be Sentry, how he's introduced to us, how we first find him, how they kind of look after him, the baby in the group, and then eventually or Alexi gets shoved in there. It's kind of like the dad figure of the group is like, oh, we're a team now. We want to be a team. You have something you want to say, Matt? I see you're squinching real hard over there. What you got?
I'm just I don't know if it's your connection or my connection. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Gotcha. Any better? Closer to the
That's
mic?
better. Right there is good.
Okay. Um, Sorry about that if you couldn't hear me. So, with that being said, I think you made a really solid point regarding the movie focusing in on depression and the void. And I know we said we don't want to get too spoiler specific, but what fun is it when you can't have a little bit of spoilers, right? But I was reading reviews on this, and one stuck out to me. It's like, bro literally got beat by the power of the hug. And I'm going to tell you something. You're absolutely right. He did get beat by the power of the hug, but it wasn't that he was so much beaten as he was given his heart back or a little bit of soul
That's
or
when I
empathy.
cried. If anyone
Isn't that
wondered,
crazy?
Did Matt cry during a Marvel movie? Matt who cries on almost anything these days. Uh, yes, Matt cried during Thunderbolts, and it was that moment when they hugged him. And she said a line. She said, oh, God, I wish I remember what she said. There's a line that she said when they all grab him and hug him. I'm here for you now, or I'm here. There's something line along those lines that is said, and I didn't like ugly cry, but I teared up, and I like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good. This got me. But I didn't mean to cut you off. But
No,
the hug is real.
you're absolutely fine. And honestly, in terms of a film, I think it was so powerful because what other Marvel movie, superhero movie really ends with the big bad, getting hugged by people that were trying to kill each other earlier and really didn't give a crap about what happened to the other person, coming together, having a big group hug, and just kind of, letting that light back in, so to speak. So kudos on them for doing that, and I was not disappointed. The Red Guardian was again hilarious in this. I felt that he was really the spirit and driving force, the glue of the group that kind of kept everybody together. It's like we're not going to leave anybody behind. We're going to be, but also that relationship between father daughter. I think that they went over that really well and built that back up because obviously there's some tension If you remember watching the older movies, they were put together, not so much actual father daughter, and there are definitely some things, some trust issues in between the two of them. So again, like you said, completely. I think the reason why this movie did better than I thought it would as well is because it broke the Marvel formula. It's not about, in the end, we're going to have a big, powerful bad guy, and we're going to be like, this is going to be like the team coming together that's going to be more powerful together, and we're going to join up, unite, and beat them. Yeah, that did happen to a degree, but it was more about the caring about each other that really ultimately cemented it out of a team that really shouldn't have. So I guess we'll kick it back over to closing thoughts. Um, Wrapped up. So I know you said you changed your letterbox score. What did we end on, Matt? What did we put this at?
Yeah. So yeah, just closing thoughts. Don't if you haven't seen this, don't go into it with the eyes of, oh, this is Marvel movie number 36. Go into it with, this is Thunderbolts, and this is its own thing. And I think you'll be surprised at how much you enjoy this. This is probably one of the better. I'm not going to say, some people are like it's the best Marvel movie, like top 10 Marvel. No, it's not. I'm not gonna lie to you. In my opinion, it's not top 10 Marvel. But top 20 of 36, probably. Top 15, maybe. I think it's definitely in the conversation of one of the better Marvel movies, and it definitely, like you said, it broke the Marvel mold and the formula and did something different, and that's what the MCU needed, something different. So I did change. I so Letterbox gives you 5 stars. Um, Again, plug Letterbox. Follow me on there at Matthew Winstead. Trying to get Dan on there. I think he might have a secret account that he just isn't telling me about. Don't know yet. Um, maybe we'll get to that at some point during these shows. But um, yeah, I changed it. So with one, or with actually half a star being the worst and 5 stars being the best, I ended with a 4 out of this, 4 out of 5. I think it's a very good film. It sticks with you like it did for me long after the credits. Many days later, I was still thinking about these characters and this movie and how I wanted to watch it again. I will be buying this day one once it comes out, so I can enjoy it again. Way to go, Marvel, for doing something different. And hug your friends.
Absolutely. I don't think they had that disclaimer in there about mental health. Maybe they did and I missed it, but I feel like they probably should have put that in there. But good point. Honestly, check on your friends because this isn't something that just affects superhumans. This is something that affects all of us as humans. But overall, yeah, tremendous. I know I pretty much already stated my case. But overall, in terms of movies, I would put this at about a 3.5. But
Okay.
that's not to say that I didn't find it a solid film. I found it very enjoyable. The only issue I have with Marvel movies ongoing, this fell victim to that a little bit, is you end up creating a super villain, so to speak, that's so powerful that nothing can beat them. And especially now that, the new Avengers are the new Avengers and you don't have anyone that's that tier anymore. The Thors are gone, Captain Marvel's off planet, yada yada yada. It's just it's making it more and more difficult to combat. Um, Now, that being said, I know that they're going to use this as a springboard. They talked a lot about Fantastic Four in this film, which we'll now see for the third time. So
Yeah.
hopefully, third time's a charm on that. I'm really looking forward to what they're doing. But if they take the same framework that they had from Thunderbolts and apply it to the team of the Fantastic Four, where it's more about personal growth and development, not only using skill sets to complement each other, which had to be done here, but using that same formula, I think they could come out with another good movie, one that we could be excited for. But then, like, I guess this may be spoilers to some people, but the potential of a Captain Hydra, the potential of Tony Stark, like Doctor Doom possessing Tony Stark's body, and all this other good stuff that we may see coming up. It gives you or keeps the hope alive that okay, this isn't going to be the same old, same old. Maybe they're going to change it up on us again. So again, 3.5 out of 5. Solid movie from Marvel.
All right, guys. I think that pretty much wraps up our review on Thunderbolts. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, like I said at the top of the show, if this is your first time, welcome. Thank you so much for checking us out. If you're returning to us each and every week, thank you so much for being loyal. We appreciate you more than you know. Follow us. We are on YouTube where you're watching this, youtube.com/picture this film reviews. And we are on Instagram, Instagram at picture this reviews. Um, that's pretty much all I got. Dan, any final words?
Look, I told Matt in the last episode, this is probably something you're going to hear me say a lot. We really do appreciate you guys watching these. I mean, there's so much content online. If you are here with us and you stuck out the whole, 30 minutes or whatever this video ends up being, thank you, number one. But we also like the participation part of this. We started MDVA Movie Club. There were four people, well, really five people, just talking about movies. And we'd like to get kind of back to that grassroots with this. So let us know what you thought about this movie. Give us your opinions. If there's a movie you're excited to be seeing coming up that you'd like to see and like to hear us talk about, drop the line, let us know the title. And also, I guess the most important thing is, why don't you come see a movie with us? It'd be nice just to chat about it and, yeah, to hear your thoughts. So, looking forward to the next time.
Everyone have a great week. Hug your friends and love one another.